and void. Well, joining me from his constituency in Birmingham is the Labour MP Liam Byrne. And your leader, Mr Byrne, Jeremy Corbyn, battling a lot of no confidence votes from his shadow cabinet today. Has he got your backing going forward?
Well, I'm still talking to key activists here in Birmingham, but I can tell you what they've said to me over the last 24 hours. And that is that this is a day of some sorrow and some soul searching, but people are now beginning to see the scale of the task that now lies ahead for Labour. They can see that we've got to help broker the divorce deal of the century between Britain and Europe. It's a huge task, one of the biggest tasks any party has confronted in its history. We've got to put in place a Labour plan for that divorce. We can't leave it to people like Ian Duncan Smith and Boris Johnson. We've then got to win an election on the back of it. And to do those two things, we need to be able to field our A-team. And I think what activists in Birmingham have been saying to me is that they can't see now how Jeremy Corbyn can field that A-team to get that huge job done. And so overwhelmingly, people have been saying to me that he should step down. Now, there are others who have said to me that, this is not the time for disunity and dissent. But I have to say to you, overwhelmingly, the message from activists here in the city, those who have been knocking on doors, stuffing envelopes, on the phones, talking to voters, is they can just see this massive task that lies ahead for Labour. These are new times, and they just can't see that Jeremy, for all the brilliant work he's done over the last year, is the right guy for this next phase. And so it may be the time for him to now hand the baton on to someone who can hold the confidence of the locker room.
Well, that's what the activists say, Mr Liam Byrne, but is that what you're saying? Are you saying you have no confidence in your leader, Jeremy Corbyn?
Well, I've still got some people that I'm talking to over the course of this afternoon and over the course of this evening. I've got through most of my calls and conversations. I've made a commitment to my party that I will take their views into next week. But I have to say, overwhelmingly, the feedback so far is that Jeremy has done, a great job at kind of resetting the Labour Party over the last year. But it's time for him to hand the baton on now to someone who can command the confidence of the PLP, put in place, Labour's A-team, in order to make sure that we don't leave the job of negotiating an exit deal to Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage and Ian Duncan Smith. We need a Labour divorce agreement that reflects our values like protection of workers' rights, cooperation on climate change, protection of human rights, all the things that we care about. We then have to win an election. We have to inspire the full breadth of our coalition to then support that at the general election, which may be very imminent. And then we have to lead a government that actually does the deal over the next couple of years. So people are kind of looking at this and saying, look, this calls for the absolute best of Labour now. This is a challenge, that is probably greater than the financial crisis in 2008. Some have even compared it to the task we had to perform in 1945. And they're looking at Jeremy Corbyn and saying, well, look, for all the great work he's done, he's no Clement Attlee. And actually what we need now is the very best of Labour to lead us through some of the most dangerous rapids our country has ever gone through.